Welcome to the DevReady Podcast, where we're helping non-techs build better tech. Today we have Islam Abdullah joining us from Ylemer. Islam, welcome and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, your history, and how you started the journey of Ylemer.
It's definitely a very interesting journey. So I never actually knew that I'm gonna start building my own business. I never expected that at all. So let's just go back a little bit from the start. So I born in Egypt, and I also like joined the university, computer science, and I graduated 2004 with a bachelor degree of computer science. So I had all the passion about technology. And after that, I started to get into the workforce and finding work.
Mhm.
So after I graduated, I found that the knowledge that so I graduated as a programmer, but I find like after I graduated that all the knowledge that I accumulated is obsolete. It's actually outdated. So it
Yes,
was a shock.
always moving, definitely.
Exactly what we found.
Yes.
That's the case, isn't it? So what happened is I started to look from starting from the ground up. I started
Uh-huh.
working computer shop, so selling computer parts and helping people to fix their computers because I used to use computers since like quite early stage. So 1995
Mhm.
was the first time I put my hands on computer. So I started to help people to fix computers and yeah, so I got myself into technology, which even if it's far away from my education. But anyway, I started to move forward and try to discover where can I actually start the career that I love. It was not the case. Every time I go try to find a job, they say to me, "You don't have experience." So it was disappointing, of course. So anyway, I came to Australia 2009. I came to Australia and I started again to try to find a career in IT, but the other answer was you don't have Australian experience, so you don't have experience, and then you don't have Australia experience. So I started battle there, and I start just to work anywhere until the I put my foot into the IT doors back early, I think early 2011 and I had the first job at Fujitsu. So I was doing like desktop support
Okay.
overall
Mhm.
for big corporates. And that was the first step. And then I started to move forward until last year, 2 years ago. My last job was working for IBM. I was infrastructure engineer, so looking after shell infrastructure, so data center, so very comprehensive, and that's exactly the career that I love. Of course, like from the start point until 2 years ago, it was like, of course, like a quite of a journey. So I'm not gonna go in details in there, but yeah, it was quite like an interesting journey. I love what I do, but I never felt the satisfaction whatsoever. I never felt that I'm doing something that it make me grow. Every time
Interesting.
yeah,
Mm.
it's basically make me to still where I am, even if I'm growing, but it's growing career, but not professionally growing.
Uh-huh.
You have to wait for a permission from your manager to even say something. So it's a very difficult to find that freedom to bring your ideas to the world and to validate who you are. So until one time I had a conversation with Sandy, my co-founder. We're just talking overall about cryptocurrency and blockchain, and was very interesting, like to get into it. I started investing into cryptocurrency actually from very early stage, and like before even like it become Bitcoin become well known everywhere. So I started to actually put money into it, and then
Oh,
when
well done.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna go there.
Yes.
I sold it quite early, to be honest. So
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
I sold it was like about $800. So I bought it
Okay.
$600 and I sold it
Yes.
$800.
Oh, so you started early, but got out early too. So that's okay. You made a profit. So I've been playing in that space for a long time, up, down, left, right. And yeah, it's an interesting market, that's for sure. We won't
Yeah.
jump too much into blockchain, but yeah, so investing in that space, it's enjoy the ride.
Yeah, enjoy the ride, like ups and downs, and your heart to start to pump every single
Correct.
day, and you go, like you go and do like the day tradings and all of that, and yeah, you make a lot of money, and then it's gone next
God.
day.
It's a very speculative
It's a
bubble.
fun journey, that one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's like a ride.
Yes. I love it. So just briefly on that. So you mentioned that you never really felt like you were growing, no fulfillment in your job, no purpose. So what was missing there?
Growth. So
Mm,
growth. It's
okay.
basically you are okay. So I actually I describe it in that sentence. It's like you are a drug addict when you are in a job. You get a paycheck. This is your drug. So you wait for the next paycheck so you can pay your bills, and again and again and again and again. It's like you are chasing something that make you well. Let's put it that way. Actually, to make you just survive. Which is on the
Mm,
other hand, what is survive? So animals survive. Animals in the wild, they survive. So they don't really need to do things that they don't have to do to survive. So we are doing something that we don't have to do to survive, which it doesn't make sense. Like we are, it's a waste for our knowledge and our mind. Like we have intelligence, and we waste it just going and working in a job that just give you a paycheck, and that's it. The end of the day. I knew, Andrew, that there is something in there. I know that I have something much bigger, but it's not fulfilled in my job.
yeah,
It
and I
was
think
just a job.
Yeah,
it's just if it's just a job and the chasing the paycheck, it becomes a rat race. Like you've
yeah,
you've got a mortgage to pay, you've got bills to pay, and you're tied to the job. And if you don't love it, that is a problem. There's a lot of people out there that unfortunately don't love their work and don't love why they get up in the morning and doing what they do. And being a business owner and enjoying the challenges in that, there's always plenty of growth. And I get the the draw to growing and learning and evolving, because if you're going to jump into becoming a founder or running businesses, it's a very different world, and you have to grow as a
yeah.
person
Every
all
day,
the time.
Eh,
Yeah, every day.
every
It
day.
never stops.
Yeah, the challenges are make you growing, but in your job there is no challenge except your manager. It's as simple as that.
Mm,
And also one of the other things is that environment to make it create competitive environment between the staff. They are chasing the next promotion, which is what is it? What is the promotion gonna take you? It's not really far at all. Like you're not gonna get
mm,
anywhere. And one of the other things, that this connection between the company vision, what is really their vision, what they want to do, no one know. No one have any idea, and where you at in your job. So it's that disconnection, it created, exactly as Anthony said, it's just a job.
and that's what drew me to you and having a bit of a chat, because I think I like your philosophy. So now, jumping out on your own, that's a big step, isn't it? So how
Yeah.
did you go about approaching that, and what got you out of the job and jumping into your own little startup world and founding your own business? So what was that step that for you?
Yeah, so going back to having a conversation with Sandy about the cryptocurrency and the world that it's creating a brand new world, and the ability that you can utilize it so you can incentivize people to do certain things. And there was something amazing in there. Actually, the original idea that we came up with was absolutely amazing. When we had the chat, I found, because again, I'm a very early adapter using technology. I started to use actually social networking since 1995. That was the first time I started to use online networking, which is many people don't even hear about it. Like there is a platform that was built in Microsoft Windows 95 and 98. It was called CChat, or what CChat? What is it? It stands for? I actually forgot. So CChat, that was built into Windows 95 and 98, but then after that it's obsolete. It was obsolete, or they retire it. And they come up after that was MRC, and then ICQ, and many different networking. So I started from the very, very early stage.
Yeah, no, very interesting.
Yeah, and like I seen the
I've never heard of sea chat. Have
no
you, Andy?
no
No, not C chat. I've heard of the
No.
evolutions of it, but not.
Yeah.
not many people know. Actually, C chat was amazing because it used to be like yeah, it's comic chat. So this it stands for comic chat because it's a
Okay.
character. You choose a character, and you actually interact with people with your entire body. So it's like the character give you like face impressions and body gestures. Actually, like it's automatic. So if you say you, it point to you, and you are like standing all of you in the chat room, you're standing all of you together and you're interacting with these gestures, and it was amazing. Like there is nothing like it. And back then, like we used to have absolutely constructive conversations, that I cannot find it anymore. So since the change of this type of networking from MySpace, so MySpace it changes the entire game, and then Facebook came after that to take over from MySpace.
Oh, so yeah, social's been obviously made a massive impact on the way we communicate online, offline, and sitting in Melbourne in COVID, there's even more communication now. It just continues to open up borders. So you can talk to anyone across the world in any
Yeah.
moment. Speaking to someone in Belgium the other day, US the next day, Singapore the next, and it's like you're in the same room because speaking to someone in Melbourne is the same experience right now. So
Yeah, it's one
it
world.
has, yeah, the world's changed because of the internet, and then the social networks has completely opened up the way we communicate and connect.
And it's a very interesting, Andrew, that it's also, yes, it connects us, but every
Mm.
platform it has its own essence and way that it actually shaped the way people communicate. Like you'll find
Mm.
people communicate on Twitter in a totally different way than Facebook, or people communicate on LinkedIn again in a totally
Yes.
different way. So it shaped actually the way how people communicate. So back in the past, people really used to dig into problems and a conversation to know you. We used to use nicknames, not actually your name and your picture. We used to use nicknames. So once we started to use your picture and your actual name, conversation started to change. It become
Okay.
like ego driven, and that's the most distinctive difference that I noticed. That people started me. It's all about me. Here I'm gonna share my photo about me eating whatever. So the communication started to become a disaster. So like I don't use Facebook. Actually, I have accounts on Facebook, but I don't use
Yes.
Facebook as
I never actually drew into Facebook really at all. LinkedIn is probably my preference of anything at the moment. So yeah, Facebook never drew my attention. I'm not sure why. I just never really got involved.
but now we know.
LinkedIn, we met on LinkedIn, I believe. Yes,
Yes.
we did. Yes, and it just opens up
Yeah.
connections and networks, and it's for business outcomes. It's connect, but it's also connecting like-minded people, which I find brilliant. Yeah, so that's the advantages what social can do for us.
As far as I can see, definitely LinkedIn is one of the best
Mhm.
platforms so far. But yeah, so fast forward from there, from the past until the time that I had a conversation with Sandy, and I said there's something really missing in the social communication world, and we link this with cryptocurrency and the incentives and rewarding systems, and how can we drive people to have more constructive conversations. So and, of course, like LinkedIn is an amazing platform, but it's a more professional. It's not for all public. So but public are actually missing that kind of interaction, that deeper interaction. So we came up with amazing idea. It was absolutely amazing, and we started to actually implement it. We built our own cryptocurrency that we will plug it
Mhm.
into a platform, a social platform, and
Okay.
was really innovative. Like every single thing about it was really innovative. With the intention behind it is to drive people to have more constructive conversations. And after a while, the Australian government or ASIC they decided that security tokens are illegal, or you must have a security license for to be able to operate security tokens. So all what we've been doing, that's it. It put on a halt.
Yeah, it was very. We were sort of engaging in that space for a little while, and sort of 2016, 17, and yeah, had those challenges came up because the legal ramifications of what we're really doing is creating a security, and you need to show utility for
Yeah.
that, which you can still do, but yeah, it's a lot more red tape now to get through. The US, for example, is cracking down significantly, taking a lot of these cryptocurrencies to court. sending them broke, basically having to pay back. It's
Yeah.
been interesting challenges in that area, but a lot of great things will be coming from that space too.
100%.
So watch the space.
There's a lot of learnings.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This is
plenty of
the
learning.
pioneering phase where they'll have to just test and experiment and push the boundaries.
Yes.
And then once everyone settles on what's actually possible and what's safe and legal for everyone involved, then they'll know where they can take it.
Yeah, it's
So what was
still
that
evolving.
experience like? You obviously spent time investing in something and you got thrown a curveball. And that happens in startup world, doesn't it? So we can
Yeah,
get
it
thrown
happened to one of our
curveballs.
products as well.
Where you basically put time, effort, energy, and then all of a sudden they're taken from under you and the opportunity's gone. So what did that feel like for you?
Well, of course, that was like a disaster, but I already I knew that this is coming before it come to Australia. It started at in the States, so the ESC, and is it what is it ASC?
SEC.
SEC, yeah.
Yeah,
in
SEC.
America.
That's
Thank you. Yeah, so
Sure.
they cracked down initially, and then I knew straight away that actually Australia going to follow. So I started to prepare for that, and we knew that this not going to go that direction. And I started to do some investigation with some lawyers and related to blockchain. They have some knowledge about blockchain and cryptocurrency. We knew that we're not gonna go that way, but this was the start point that I can build something. So there is something that in there that we still have that core that we wanted to empower people, no matter whatever it is. So the tool is it's a tool, but the concept behind it is the most important thing. So we started to move into all right, that's something like we definitely not gonna be working with. We know that this technology. So let's focus actually what's happening in the world around, and we find that because actually cryptocurrency is one of the things that started to increase the number of entrepreneurship or entrepreneurs around the world to exploit this technology. So, and we started to continue further research, and that was it. We knew that entrepreneurs are the most people actually who are struggling building new products, like because we've been through that, but we don't know what's actually needed for to build a successful business. We try to reach out to accelerator programs or many different support, but we find that there is no any kind of support that can help someone who have an idea or a great idea. It's basically they say ideas are cheap. That's the most common answer is ideas are cheap, but execution is the most important thing. Okay, yes, I want to execute, but I need to understand how to build the business. Yeah, it's a whole company. Like we thought that, all right, we're going to build something. We're going to go to the market. We're very excited. It's going to be something. We're going to change the entire world and we're going to put it out there. And then we find, so actually Y Combinator, they say it's a reality check-in. So you have the excitement, and then you drop down to the reality check-in. We had that stage, and we was in a really like a bad mental state that everything is just going away from us, and there's no one want to support us. There's no any kind of support that we can find, and we tried so hard. We try even to immerse ourselves into the ecosystem, but we find that we find yeah, of course there are people give you the advice and all of that, but everyone have a different story. Everyone have their own different unique idea, or the business is unique. So advice, it doesn't apply across the board, simple as that. So we knew there's a big problem there, and that's where Ylemer come from.
Interesting. I think, like you said there, the person with the idea generally doesn't get a lot of support. You need to start executing something before you even get opened up to accelerators, or some seed capital can exist, but you still need to start producing something. And I think you touched upon it there. You're going to build a product, but you've got to build a business. And that's where all the detail comes in, because having a product in a marketplace is not going to guarantee any success. It's more about how are you going to serve the customers? Are you delivering the right product for them? How are you going to market, get to your actual customers, etc. There's so much detail in this. So and like I said to you, Islam, when we first had a chat, we started the DevReady podcast for the exact same reason that you started investigating Ylemer. It was to help non-tech build better tech. But then the point of that is you've got founders that go through the journey and realization that it's never really about the product. The product's the delivery mechanism. It's the point that the consumer interacts with, but we need to know the consumer, understand the customer, understand their pains, their problems, understand how we actually monetize this thing, because in the end it's a business.
And this is the most difficult part, Andrew. This is actually the most daunting part for a founder. I know that because I've been through that. You ask me, for example, go back 2 years ago and you say, have you spoke to your customer? I say, why do I need to speak to the customer? I know that this is a problem.
Yes.
So it's quite common. So it's the dynamic for starting a business, as you said, actually a profitable or even a monetized business. You need to learn about your customer, and that's what the most founders are missing because they're just sitting behind the computer. They have no idea, and losses income is a product. Last thing actually come the product. If you can actually, we are in this phase now. We are doing everything manually, and it's a nightmare. Right? I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's a very difficult.
Yes.
We are building a platform. Yes, we are building a platform to host all of these parties, so entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs like investors, connecting them together in a harmony, but now we're doing it manually with Excel sheets, believe it or not, because we know that we can serve them.
And that's you adding value. And I think that's the point that people get a little bit lost in. And this is a huge point. You can still add value without technology. There are ways to do things that don't mean that you have to invest $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 to build a piece of technology. That's the point of where some people stop. They have an idea and then they start investigating and say, "Oh, it's going to cost me $200,000 to build this thing, so I'm going to walk away." And that's disappointing because there are other ways to do things, and you've just raised one there.
Yeah, the technology just allows you to scale
Yeah.
and automate.
Yeah.
So you couldn't serve 100,000 businesses using the Excel spreadsheets.
No.
Because there'd be a limit to how much time you have in a day and how many people you can have running those
Yeah.
sheets. But that's when a system can do all of those in a fraction of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it allows you to get that scale. And then the technology has a purpose and the return on investment makes sense.
Exactly. So actually that remind me, what his name, Paul, the founder of Y Combinator. Paul, I'm not sure if you...
I don't know his surname. No, I don't know Paul.
So he's the founder of Y Combinator, and his advice that always come and ring in my head, as Anthony just said, that you build something that it doesn't scale, and then you build something that is scaled. So you prove with something with Excel sheets, you prove that there are some dynamics that you can actually create a business, and then you build the things that scale after that. Paul Graham, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so with that there, it's great advice because you're still in the process component and refining your process because you don't have all the answers.
Exactly.
We never do. And during what you're doing with your Excel spreadsheets and bits and pieces and connecting mentors to entrepreneurs and the process you're going through, you're working out a process. And then once you go to build, you'll know all the answers. Not build something, have to throw it out anyway because it's completely wrong because that's been done before too, which is quite scary. So yeah, it is take your time.
Exactly.
There's no rush.
You need to know the process. You need to know exactly what's needed. And you have no idea. Well, again, we built a product already, and there are things, yes, we can take from there, but actually, like a lot of it are not going to be used because the processes. When you use the Excel sheet, you know the flow. So, for example, a customer come, what will happen next? What will happen next? It's the entire journey. You see it like in row by row what's actually happening. And instead of it just a concept in your mind, and it's totally far from when you actualize it in the real world. So this enable you to actually visualize it, the process from the start to the end.
And work out the detail, right? Because there are gaps and you can still improve that process during when you're visualizing it. And it will change, evolve, like every business does. No process is set in stone. And I think it's pretty scary to jump in and build a full end-to-end solution when you don't even know how you're going to operate. So hats off to you to think that way and just do it manually because a lot of people don't, and that's where they might get it wrong.
That's right. And Andrew, that this is so important now that we need to get this message out there because we know that there are so many entrepreneurs these days. And this is actually become a trend now. So instead of like just increasing the number of entrepreneurs doing things wrong, they really need to understand and to know that there are steps to take before you start to jump into the deep water. You need to tip your toes slowly and to see, if that's working for you, if it's too cold or not.
So, Ylemer, now what's your overall objective? Let's paint a picture. Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? How do you want to impact the community? Because there are so many ways and so many great people that can obviously add value to entrepreneurs along the journey. We've met plenty in our time. But how do you imagine connecting the community within a platform play? How does that sit for you? And what does that look like?
So our objective is very clear. We want to empower entrepreneurship that drives impact. So we want entrepreneurs who, especially, we know that the younger generation, which that's going to be the majority of the society or the economy moving forward. So like Gen Z, for example, they are going to be the majority. They are driven by impact. We need to empower them to actually drive this impact. So we know that in 5 years' time that this is going to be the majority of the economy, as I mentioned. So we need to empower them. They have that passion, and we need to give them that empowerment by connecting them with mentors that can actually help them to actualize that. So instead of just driven by let's go and make, for example, the next unicorn, and it doesn't matter whatever product it is, we want to actually people who are drive a purpose, and they want to see a change in the world. So that's basically the foundation of what we are doing, and like open a new horizon for other people to also actualize their purpose as well. So many people like myself, I had no idea after I graduated working in these massive corporates. I feel that something really is missing in there. I would call it like my light was dimming down, and this is not the life that I always wanted. So we want to help other people to also find their purpose, to identify what's really is the things that they care about, and they can bring it to the world by, of course, like finding people like yourself to partnership with, to help them to bring it to the world. So creating for them that environment, the ecosystem, that supportive, rather than you're not ready, for example, you're not ready now, or go and build something first and then come later. No, we need to have an ecosystem that they can support them from the start, from even an idea, and that's what's missing now.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point, because people want to see something, and I think that's generally what people look at. And I think what you said about purpose is hugely important. If we're just driven by making some money, it generally can end pretty badly, because when things get tough and there's no money coming in, that purpose really hits home. And
Yeah.
if you've got a purpose behind your brand, your vision for your product, it's going to make a big impact and pull you forward. So I think that's quite commendable in terms of where you're standing from there. One of the I'll push back to this. It was episode 13 on our 14 actually, on our podcast with a young man who's 76 years old. His name's Neville Christie, who's one of our business mentors now. So we met him on the podcast, and he's one of our mentors now, which is quite interesting. But one thing he talks about is, and I'll get you to go and have a look at that and listen to that, is Purpose Mountains. And he looked at getting an understanding of who you are as a person. And a couple of those were, like, an example of that is not to get too fixated on what your purpose is, but from your perspective, it might be something along the lines of, one of his mountains, I believe, is be the best you can be. And that's a growing mindset, right? So picking which mountain you want to stand on. So go and listen to that episode. It was great in terms of content and just different thinking around what purpose can be, because I've heard this bandied around all the time that we need purpose, we need drive, we need why, but it doesn't have to be overly complex as to what it is either.
Yeah, so of course, like the agility mindset is so important, and being flexible, and this is again, so they go together. So if you're rigid with one thing, and you're not ready to change and to adjust yourself to the world around, you're gonna be like Nokia, for example, or Kodak. It's as simple as that. But you really need to upgrade yourself all the time to the world around you, because you don't know everything as well. Like you are entering like an unknown area, So every single step, you learn something new, and you find many aha moments as you go further. So you need to upgrade as far as you go. The further you go, the more that you'll find that this is something I did not realize before. So exactly, I 100% agree that it's flexible and it need to change all the time.
It's always evolving like a business model.
Yeah.
And I think 100 years ago it was harder to get into business, but business stayed the same for 20, 30 years and you could sell the same product. Today you can build a product in 6 months it's obsolete. And it's a very different dynamic that we live in. And I can't remember exact stats, but if you look at the stock market over in the US, within the cycle of how long businesses stay up at the top within the Nasdaqs and the Dows is diminishing significantly. The average was about 50, 60 years. I think it was about
Yeah.
50, 60 years ago. Now it's around 10 years that you're in the Dow Jones, Nasdaq. It's something along those lines. Don't quote me exactly, but it's
Yeah.
diminishing because the change that's happening, new businesses that are evolving, that are growing. Have a look at Amazon. There's just breaking into that world right now and where they've come from. And it's just, profound how quickly a business can grow if you get it right.
Yeah, so it's the growth of the business. It's also the growth of the mindset of the founder or the organization which is running
Mhm.
it. Which again, like if Amazon will stay, I'm gonna just be a bookstore where it will be
Yes.
now nowhere.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, same as all those other businesses like Google. If they just stuck as a search engine
Mhm.
and nothing else, then they wouldn't be where they are today. It's adapting and adjusting your business, and where else can you offer more value
Mhm.
that aligns with what you're already offering your customers.
Exactly, it's unknown. Like
Yeah,
that's really people need to realize that whatever you think about now, tomorrow's obsolete, or it could be obsolete. So like everything is changing around us and very very fast. And this is why like as Andrew mentioned, the business keep diminishing because they not upgrading themselves. It just it go away. They stuck in the same every day that they're doing the one thing over and over again, and they think that's it. But yeah, they don't grow. Business need to understand, and also human need to understand that you are in a discovery every single day.
yeah,
I think that's an interesting point. And when you realize that we're discovering every single day and evolving every single day, and you own that, that's where things open up quite a bit because there's so much out there that you only know what you know. And if you're willing to learn and evolve, that's where really the passion can come from. You can jump into things. And a great example for us is we started the DevReady podcast because we wanted to share people's stories. We had no idea what the implications of doing this would be. The amount of great people along the journey that we've met now, I consider friends I talk to weekly as a result of starting the podcast has been profound, and it's something you don't realize. And then you have to evolve to become better at what you're doing and continue to evolve process. Just a simple form of a podcast, you don't know what you're getting into until you jump into it. Just trying to explain that point, and that's the same as business. We never know what we should be doing as a business to serve our customers. And if we think we have all the answers, you likely will get overtaken because you probably don't. So, yeah, there's plenty of learning and evolving over time, and it's always evolving.
And it's just you have to do it. You just have to get started. So like like Andrew, people like yourselves, you do something amazing for founders because you help them from the very early stage, from the start to make sure that actually you're doing something right. So you go and do it. You just go and do it, but it's a very small scale, like starting a podcast. And then you start
Yes.
to explore from there. What are the possibilities? Not if you say I know, you're not gonna get anywhere. Simple as that.
It's true. Now, let's jump in a little bit more into Ylemer. Now, how are you connecting to mentors and like a question I would have as a founder is why would I be drawn to this platform? So you're obviously looking to connect entrepreneurs to mentors, but who are the type of people that are being drawn into this ecosystem? What type of mentors can I expect to work with? How does the model look? How does it work?
So we basically our core, the main asset that we provide is the community that we have.
Mhm.
So we actually communicate. So Sandy and I, we work together. Actually, we interact with the mentor one-on-one. It's not just an open platform that anyone can just come and list themselves. No, we speak to every mentor one-on-one. We ensure that these people are aligned with our values. So we actually connect with mentors from everywhere around the world. So we have some from Hong Kong, angel investors, but they also it's not just only angel investors, but they've been entrepreneurs for a quite long time. And we have also coaches, business coaches who help a business from the start, from the very early start to executing something that is more viable, helping them to achieve the MVP, because the MVP is not just let's go and build something as well. It's understanding, creating the canvas to understand more about your customer, and then you started to analyze from there. So it's an entire journey. And also we have different types. So we have amazing people that we connect with regularly in our events. So we have also regular events that we run that connect all the network together. So it's like a network event. So everyone who participates in these events, they always leave with amazing impression, which is we connect with some amazing people. So that's basically our core foundation. But we take that further as well. So every single event that we run, it's running with a value. So there is something always to learn from there. It's not just hey, we're gonna run a webinar, but no, it's always different. Always something valuable to learn from, even if you have great experience. Also, it will give you insights. If not, then the people that you will connect with. So you will end up with amazing people that you connect with afterward. At the same time, our workshops, it's also created or designed so it can help entrepreneurs or any founder who have an idea, or they already scaling their business. So we serve different segments in the market. They can help them with the practical guidance. So it's not just videos. We have a lot of videos, pre-recorded videos out there, Coursera and many different platforms that they provide courses that currently exist. Our main difference is that it's actually practical guidance that take participants step by step, that from where they at, they actually personalize their case and understand more about it, and then personalize it and move forward with teaching them practically. And also we break it down. So instead of it's 8 hours workshop, we break it down into 4 hours and 4 hours, let's say, so it can be also executable as well.
Mm-hmm. And practicality is important because there's so much content in the world, the internet right now, and how to do things. But I think there's a lot of content overload.
Yeah.
But working with someone to guide you and analyze where you're at is important. And if you don't get that knowledge in to actually give you an idea of, all right, this is where you are, this is the next step for you, this is the road ahead. Because I think it's about opening up your eyes to what is the road ahead. Because as founders,
absolutely,
and entrepreneurs and people starting businesses or building new product, whatever you're doing that's new, you don't necessarily know the road ahead.
Yeah.
But if you can step into the shoes that someone's walked that path, that journey, and learn from, it can save 5-10 years. It may even allow you to walk away from that idea because the realization is it's not the right one for you to be working on. So yeah, that knowledge and domain experience is probably pivotal to your offering, I would say.
100%. Actually, I will second what you're saying. You should not know what's the road ahead. If you know what's the road ahead, you're not actually doing something exceptional. You should actually not sure what it is. Actually, in fact, there is a very interesting topic that I can bring in here.
I'll come back to that point, but not sure what the road ahead is. And that's a fear thing, an uncertainty thing that people can stop.
And that's it.
And that can really hold us back. But there is no certainty in anything in life. And then definitely if you go and jump into business and an idea. So yeah, I just want to add that in a little bit.
Exactly.
There's no crystal balls for anyone.
Exactly. So that's actually, the uncertainty and the unknown that's your growth. This is your opportunity to grow. It's something that you don't know. You have no idea what it is. Yes, this is where you're getting into, and that's where you're gonna start to grow from there. Simple as that. You have no idea where you will be after you take the next step. Simple as that. But it's not backwards. It's going upward from there.
You can't go backwards if you're learning.
Exactly.
Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly. So one point actually, I do respect Ivan. He's one of our amazing mentors that we have. Ivan Young. He's located in Hong Kong, but originally from Malaysia. He's an angel investor, and he's organizational psychologist. His background is very interesting. I actually encourage you to go have a look at his profile. He actually brought to us a concept that I'm very interested into. It's called reverse mentoring or reverse mentorship. So I'm your mentor, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna tell you everything because I don't know everything. You're gonna also teach me as well. So together we will learn where you're gonna be heading next. So I'll give you the experience that I have in my own domain, but also you will teach me your own domain, and we'll take the step further. So it's a very interesting topic, and I encourage you to go have a look. Reverse mentorship or the reverse mentoring.
Okay, it makes sense from your description of it.
yes.
Because no one knows everything, so a mentor will only be able to tell you, like you said, from their experience.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And the experience is only like again around their domain. So my case is different than my mentor, but of course his experience in certain topics, like let's take for example entering X market, let's say, that's he's good at it. So he will not say to me, okay, but I'm gonna mentor you for finance, I'm gonna mentor you for technology. If you say that to me, I should not trust you. Simple as that.
Correct. That's true. Reverse mentoring. And I think as a mentor, what you're really, I think people need to get a grip on advisory mentor. What I've learned is you're buying or you're working with people for their domain expertise, but also you'll soon start to realize if you start putting yourself in those networks, you're working with those people because of their mindset, and you'll learn more from the way they think
Yeah.
than the knowledge that they have, because they ask different questions. They don't set up roadblocks. If they've achieved something big within their career, within their particular realm, they've knocked down those doors, they've knocked down those hurdles. And that's what I've learned over the journey. It's more about attracting into that way of thinking, asking different questions. That's what a mentor gives to me as a business owner and founder, and that's what I think a mentor should be giving to the people that they're mentoring. They will not have all the answers, but they
Yeah.
will know how to ask a better question than you do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an amazing point, Andrew. So it's definitely the mindset, the most important asset for an entrepreneur. Actually, I actually use this word often. So I say entrepreneurship is not just building a business. It's about your mindset. It's about upgrading it's a personal development experience. So as he said, asking better questions, because the questions that take you further. But knowing that I know that, and you hear that all the time. I know it. I know that. I know that. Straight away, you know that these kind of people, they not gonna get anywhere. But I like to ask a question. I like to say, why is that, or how is it could be done better? I ask my team, even for example, my team. If I have this is very important. And if I have, for example, a good idea, and I want to bring it to the team. Often I see people, they say, I want to do this and I want to do this that way. Like that's give me a cringe. What I do with my team is I say to them, hey guys, what do you think of that? And then I have, for example, the answer in my head. I already got the answer. So see, I got my answer. And then what I'm looking for is I want to hear from all of them to add into my knowledge, because my knowledge is one. And let's say if I have 5 team members, that's 6 or 5 more that I have no idea about, that it could be a possibility. So by asking questions.
Oh, we don't have all the answers, and I think you mentioned that if the I know that statement, that's they're closed mind, because we don't know everything. No one knows everything. There's no way you have all the experience that sits across the planet of every person. That's just ridiculous to make that statement, but we make that automatically. More of as it's a protection mechanism.
Ego.
It's just a fight back. I know that. Yeah, it's ego. Yeah, that's right. That's driving that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just being open as a founder is hugely important. That's probably something that back in the day I did really wrong. I was driven by ego and thinking asking questions will make me look stupid. No, asking questions will give you the answers that you need to find. Asking questions will just allow you to lean on other people's experience. Asking questions will save you 5, 10, 15 years. asking better questions. So leaning on different people's experience, and everyone's happy to share. You will find that there's so many people out there that have so much knowledge that they're just more than happy to just share their stories, their journeys, and you'll learn more from just talking to someone and a mentor and just understanding their journey, their story, their philosophy, their experience, just by asking questions. It's not about you. You'll lean from their experience.
Exactly. It's like you are one and the world around you. You have your limited ideas and it's just yours. But the world around you, it's much, much more that you have no idea that exists. So if you limit with what you have, and again, this is what we was talking about earlier. If you think that you know everything and that's it, you're gonna execute whatever that you know, and you think that that's where you're at, you're not gonna get anywhere. But it's all about exploration. It's all about asking questions to add into your information and your knowledge. And there is nothing wrong to be wrong. Actually, there's nothing wrong to be wrong at all. And you should admit that you're wrong if you have the wrong idea. This give you also like credentials with the team. The team will respect you more to say, that's a new concept that I haven't realized before. Thank you for introducing that or bringing that to the table. This make people respect you so much when you be just genuine.
So, what do you believe? I'll ask you a question around an entrepreneur. What type of mindset thinking does an entrepreneur need? So, what are some of the things that you would advise people to look at from an entrepreneur if you're going to jump into this space? What are some of the thinking and open-mindedness that you need? What qualities do you need as an entrepreneur? Would be probably the better way to ask the question.
I actually had a presentation last week or the week before. It was like in a conference, and I made a few slides that actually capsulizing my book. I'm writing a book, and this book called Reverse Mindset. So, and basically the point in there that I make it so clear that you need to get rid of what's in your mind now. If you wanted to grow, if you want to add purity into your mind, you need to get rid of what you have now or what you've been learning all the years before in the past. You're always looking ahead in the future, the unknown. See, we keep hitting this point over and over again. It's you are experiencing or you are entering an unknown area. So you need to just leave behind what you already have and be ready for the next the unknown that you have no idea about. So you can take it in and you can use it. And also one of the other things is to use it. So whatever you learn, use it straight away. Actually, don't waste time. Just use it straight away.
Yeah, I think using knowledge is easily obtained, but action is where it all sits. So I think that's pretty important, valid point here, because we can pick up knowledge from anybody. But if you don't do anything with it, there's no point actually obtaining that knowledge. So really good point there.
Yeah, and like again, just what's his name? Bruce Lee. He said there is actually a say. I cannot remember exactly how he said it, but if you want me to give you my knowledge, you need to get rid of yours. He said it in a really cool way, but you need to get rid of what you have so I can give you mine, because mine is more pure than yours. Let's say I don't want to know, like I don't want to think if there is an ego in there or not, but he just described it in a way that what you want to learn from me is something that you don't have, so you don't need to judge. You need to get rid of what you have so you can accept it, you can take it.
That's a fair point, because we judge everything around us based on our own personal experiences.
Exactly.
And that's based on our past, what we've been exposed to. Someone might tell you something that doesn't make sense to you, but that's only because of your personal experiences generally. And that's more of an ego-driven thing, right? Where that knowledge in that person has had their own experiences to come to that conclusion. So yes, understanding where they're coming from is probably more important there, really, to take on the knowledge. I think that's an interesting point, the way you frame that, though.
It's a very interesting when I read it, I've been actually looking at the Bruce Lee quotes, and it's around exactly the same the same concept, that you need to get rid of all the past experience that it been inputting into your mind. It been inputting all the years that you growing up from your school. Well, this is a totally different topic actually. Like the knowledge, the knowledge that you got from school. I don't know if should I get started in there, but
we can go there a little bit, but I think to summarize this, it's always be learning, and I think be open to learning is probably the key thing as an entrepreneur, because we only know so much, and there's so much more knowledge than we can obtain right now, or we have right now. So I think the key point here is be open to learning, be open to absorbing other people's experiences, working with mentors. But one thing to also note is the mentor doesn't have all the answers. Your role as an entrepreneur is to take on the information and make a decision.
100%.
They cannot make the decision for you. You still need to move forward based on the information that you have and make a conscious decision. And that's the reality. That's the action that you need to take.
100%. So exactly, Andrew. So exactly. Actually, I wrote an article a while ago talking about that. You have advice coming from everywhere, front, back, and center. Like all the time, you bombarded with advice. And your job is to actually filter that and to know what is viable for you and what's not to take it straight away, every advice, and you started to go and act on it and without even researching and knowing if this is something correct or not. Use your intuition. Your intuition is actually quite powerful. That will tell you if this is something that aligns with you or not. You will get advice all the time that will keep shifting you from your own path. If it's incorrect, it will shift you away from your own path. You need to know that you have a path. You need to know what is that path, and you need to know what is adding value into that path and what's not. And you filter it out. Simple as that. And I will add another point as well, Andrew. It's making decision. This is a very big one. Make a decision. Make it a decisive decision. This is very important. People tend to wait and analyze and analyze.
Procrastinate, yes.
Yeah, they would not get anywhere. So you need to execute. You need to make a decision. And this is one a very common trait of successful people is making decisions fast.
Yeah, and I think in the past I've made slow decisions, but I've pushed myself to be faster and faster, because you soon realize that decisions, the more time you spend thinking about an option, is just wasted time. And you're better off making a decision, getting it wrong quickly, learning from it, and then evolving, because you'll learn. You don't know what's right. No one knows what's right unless they pretend to tell you this is the right direction,
exactly,
the right path for you to follow. Here's the 4,000 steps outlined to starting a business, to evolving it. There, walk away, because no one knows that. But you need to make the next decision. What is the next decision that's going to move you forward, or even you're going to learn about to ensure that you're moving forward? Because that decision may not be the right one, but that's okay, because you'll learn what the right one is by making the wrong one too. So that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That is what learning is.
Yeah, your killer is what if. It's as simple as that. If you think what if, that's it. You're not gonna get anywhere. You really, that's it. You're stuck.
I would frame that in a different way, and something that I've sort of attuned to is like, what if it doesn't work? I used to ask myself a lot of questions like that, and that held me back. But then I shifted that and I said, what if it does?
Yeah.
And it opens up the possibility. Yeah. And I think that allows you to move forward. So it's just different questions again that can allow you to move forward.
Exactly. It's the same question. See, this is really amazing input. So yes, you can ask what if, but most of people, they say, what if this don't work? So and that's a main problem. But what if actually this will work? Where is the opportunity in here? Seek the opportunity that you don't know about. Try to find it. Try to discover what is. So look, Andrew, I really look at the world like in duality, and I know that there's so many people will push back on that the world is not duality, and I agree in a way. But your thinking, it comes from duality. If it's positive or negative, if it's constructive or destructive. Where is thinking come from? Where is thinking about an opportunity coming from? Is it something that, where is the opportunity, or is it going to work, or is it not going to work? For example, are we going to make revenue, let's say, next year, or are we? Why we're not going to make revenue next year? So
yes. we can focus on negative, and that for some people, negative can drive you forward. So fear can be a
Yes.
driver. So like fear of failure can be a driver.
Yep.
But it's not a great driver because it's really a negative driver, and it's always that tension in the body.
So look, Andrew, so I actually use this in my coaching. So what I do is,
Yes.
but I use it for early stage people who just coming out of the corporate life, that people make decision for them. This can work very well. For example, I said to them, what do you want to do? I want to, for example, build a successful business, or I want to build the business. All right. What will happen if you don't build the business now? This and this will happen. So, okay, so that's really bad. That's bad. That's not good. All right. Can you imagine yourself? So you have two decisions. The decision that you take the action and you know. So if you not take the action, you're gonna be in that negative state that you don't want to be. Or if you take the action, you're gonna move towards the things that you want to do. So just keep thinking, do you still want to be in that situation or in that position? And actually that start to drive them away from the state where they don't want to be.
Yeah, correct. That's an interesting point there. Islam, this has been a brilliant chat going on all different angles and fronts. But one thing I've attuned to is, and I think if you look at the history of great entrepreneurs, founders, it comes down to mindset. It comes down to your possibilities and ripping the lid off your limitations. And that's the reality of the world we live in. Why is Google as big as it is, and other technologies and founders have gone nowhere? Why is Facebook the biggest platform right now compared to, I'm sure there's other social networks that exist and have gone nowhere, the Me Too scenarios?
Yeah.
Like, what's the difference? And it's generally the people at the top driving this, making decisions and taking no for an answer, and having a vision, having a dream, and being willing to learn, evolve, and really push for the end goal. That's what a business is. It's about learning and growing and evolving as people, as team, because team is more important than the individual in the end.
Yeah.
That you can't do it without a team behind
100%.
you. But starting out as an entrepreneur or in any business, any idea, it all starts with generally one or two people, and you've got a co-founder in Islam. So you've got a co-founder in Ylemer, and the two people begin the conversation of the idea, the possibility, but then you establish team. And the sooner you can bring on team, the better for everybody, because you're going to get more input into what the philosophy of the business could be.
Yeah, and you need to take their inputs. Exactly. You need to take their inputs. You're not hiring people to just to tell them what to do. No, they need to have inputs. They need to be valid as human being, as intelligent human being. They will give you value more than you even think if you allow them to fulfill achieve the full potential. Like what you do as a founder, you are in a journey to achieve your full potential. Let them also to have the same experience.
Yeah, brilliant, Islam. So just for you, so what drives you? What's the thing? Is it passion? Is it the end vision? What gets you up in the morning?
I want to see this world a better place. I had enough from waiting and looking for corporates and governments and to solve the major problems that we have on this planet. Particularly, we're talking about the health of the planet and the animals that have been driven to this distinction because of us. So this is one thing I want to see a change, and it's not gonna be done by corporates or governments. If we wait and wait and wait, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna be done by us, by people. We need to have that ambition that yes, we can, even if it's little things that we can do, little tiny things. When I go for a walk, for example, anytime by the river or by the ocean, and I find plastic, I collect it, I put it in my pocket, and I throw it away. Little actions make huge difference. So I want to see change to this planet. It's very sad, to see a lot of people. In fact, I had a very strong conversation on LinkedIn yesterday when I was talking about sustainability goals. I'm not promoting UN sustainability goals. I'm talking about sustainability for each one of us have the responsibility. It's not the UN, it's us, and need to take control of protecting this planet. It's exactly like, can you imagine that someone come to your house and start digging to your house. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I'm sure you'll take some action then.
Exactly. So your house is on this planet. It's as simple as that. Your entire planet is your house. So you are allowing, like mining companies and people going and deforestation and all of that to actually dig in your own house where you live, where it's gonna disappear if we continue doing that way. Like if let's say there are many theories that say there is no global warming and this is not natural process and etc. I really I don't care, like if it is or not. What I care about, are we doing the right thing? What we doing now, is it correct or not? If it's not, we need to change it. It's simple as that, and it is not right.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful way to end up the podcast. So, yeah, you stand clearly with passion, commitment, dedication to making big change, and what you're doing to help entrepreneurs in a similar vein to that's why we our values clearly align in terms of what you're doing here and just helping people through the journey, because change comes from one idea, one person, and that can impact the world and make a big difference. But if that idea is not executed correctly, or it doesn't have the right guidance and evolution over that time, it may not ever come to fruition. So that one difference that a business like yours can make, if we can impact one person to create a substantial idea that's going to make big change and big impact, that's a positive. So commend you on what you're up to.
Thank you.
And if anyone wants to reach out and learn more about Ylemer and yourself, how would they reach you?
I think LinkedIn is a great medium, but also my email is available for anyone. So it's i.abdullah@ylemer.io. That's i.abdullah@ylemer.com. Sorry, it's not .io.
Perfect. No, perfect. I really appreciate your time, and yeah, let's stay in contact. I'm sure we can catch up again on the podcast in the future and talk more about the journey. So appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Andrew. Thanks, Anthony.
Cheers.